in January on the orders of the Taliban. Source, the Los Angeles Times, May 22.
In the year 2000, the UN says that there were 3,276 tons of opium produced in Afghanistan. In 2001, they estimate that the total crop was 185 tons. That's a reduction of 94%. Now, in the Northern Alliance areas, there was an increase. There were two provinces that one place it grew by, I think, 185%, almost doubled, and another it increased tenfold. But even so, the Northern Alliance provinces, with their huge increase, they were 90% of this year's crop, but 90% of 185 tons is not enough to offset. There was a net loss of 3,100 tons of opium, and that would have been such a fantastic improvement in the world opium scene. But now that they are replanting fields all over Afghanistan with opium, that possible victory we could have seen over drugs is being wiped out as a result of the U.S. intervention.
May 2001, Deputy Secretary of State, one of my favorite guys in the whole world, Richard Armitage, a former Navy SEAL who used to go on kill missions in Laos and Cambodia, who has been dealing drugs for most of his adult life, who was involved in Iran-Contra and death squads, and who has been around this world as a covert operative, goes to India at the same time while the DCI, the CIA director George Tenet, travels to Pakistan. Armitage is the cover. It's a publicized tour. Tenet makes a quiet stop to Pakistan where he spends a long time with General Pervez Musharraf, our great ally in Pakistan. Pakistan's the largest supporter of terrorism in the world, by the way. Armitage has deep intelligence connections, but Tenet spends hours, and it would be reasonable to assume, wouldn't you agree, that the head of the Central Intelligence Agency, if he's meeting with the president of Pakistan, would also meet with the head of Pakistani intelligence? Wouldn't that make sense to you? Remember, the head of Pakistani intelligence has to be approved by the CIA by treaty. The guy's name is Lieutenant General Mahmood Ahmad. Source, the Indian Sapra News Agency, May 22nd. I have copies of all of these. My $1,000 is safe. June 2001, German intelligence, the BND, the Bundesnachrichtendienst, warns the CIA and Israel that Middle Eastern terrorists are planning to hijack commercial aircraft to use as weapons to attack important symbols of American and Israeli culture. Source, the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung, that's a great newspaper in Germany, September 14th. July 2001. Three American officials, Tom Simmons, former U.S. ambassador to Pakistan, Carl Inderfurth, former Assistant Secretary of State, Lee Coldren, former State Department expert on South Asia, meet with Pakistani and Russian intelligence officers in Berlin and tell them that the U.S. is planning military strikes against Afghanistan in October. A French book, La Vérité Interdite, discloses that Taliban representatives often sat in on the meetings. U.S. is going to the Taliban, get this, and says, we're going to bomb you to smithereens in October. Could we call that provocation? Historically, there is a model. Franklin Roosevelt shut off the Japanese from oil supplies in the late 30s and early 40s to provoke them into attacking Pearl Harbor. Sources, The Guardian, September 22nd, the BBC, September 18th, and the Interpress News Service in Pakistan, November 16th. Summer 2001, according to a September 26th story in Britain's The Guardian, correspondent David Lee reported that U.S. Department of Defense official Jeffrey Starr visited Tajikistan in January. The Guardian's Felicity Lawrence established that U.S. Rangers were training special troops in Kyrgyzstan at that time. And there were unconfirmed reports that Tajik and Uzbek special troops were training in Alaska and Montana. Summer 2001, Pakistani ISI chief General Mahmoud, remember the guy I talked about, the guy that has to be approved by the CIA director by treaty? You're going to love this. Pakistani ISI chief General Mahmoud orders an aide to wire transfer $100,000 to Mohammed Atta, the lead hijacker. Who was, according to the FBI, the lead terrorist in the suicide hijackings. Mahmoud recently resigned after the transfer was disclosed in India and confirmed by the FBI. Source, The Times of India, October 11th. Our allies wiring $100,000 to the lead hijacker before the attacks. Summer 2001, an Iranian man phones the U.S. law enforcement to warn of an imminent attack on the World Trade Center in the week of September the 9th. World Trade Center, September the 9th. German police confirmed the calls but state the U.S. Secret Service would not reveal any information. I got this from the German news agency Online, i.e. September 14th, 2001. August 2001. The FBI arrests an Islamic militant linked to bin Laden in Boston. French intelligence sources confirm the man is a key member of bin Laden's network, and the FBI learns that he has been taking flying lessons in Boston. At the time of his arrest in Boston, where two of the planes are hijacked, the man is in possession of technical information on Boeing aircraft and flight manuals. Reuters, September 13th. Summer 2001, Russian intelligence notifies the CIA that 25 terrorist pilots have been specifically training for suicide missions. This is reported in the Russian press, and I have one of my sources, I have several sources who are former CIA officers, translated the article for me. July 4th through 14th, Osama bin Laden receives treatments for kidney disease at the American hospital in Dubai and meets with the CIA official who returns to CIA headquarters on July 15th. This is the guy who blew up the coal and the embassies that Bill Clinton signed an order it's okay to execute. He gets treatment at an American hospital in Dubai and flies out on a private plane. Oliver North in the 80s, Oliver North is one of my least favorite people, but he sent Navy planes to track down terrorists on the Achille Lauro. The moment bin Laden entered international airspace, he would have been fair game. The source for this story is Le Figaro, French newspaper, October 31st. Now, I got to throw in a caveat here. Le Figaro is owned by the Carlyle Group. These guys can't control everybody, okay? And they can't control reporters. Le Figaro was emphatic that they had confirmed the details of the story. The CIA immediately came out with an adamant denial, but the CIA never lies. So did some people at the hospital. But you don't have to take this story as all or everything. But Le Figaro has not retracted the story. August 2001, Russian President Vladimir Putin orders Russian intelligence to warn the U.S. government in the strongest possible terms of imminent attacks on airports and government buildings. I watched it on MSNBC on September the 15th. August, September 2001, the Dow Jones Industrial Average drops nearly 900 points in the 3 weeks prior to the attack. A major stock market crash is imminent. September 3 through 10. MSNBC reports on September 16th that a caller to the Cayman Islands to a Cayman Islands radio talk show gave several warnings of an imminent attack on the U.S. by bin Laden in the week prior to 9/11. These are just some of the advance warning bits that we have. Now,